Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. This week we had an unexpected windfall of figs. Our neighbor has a fig tree and it was time to harvest them all, and so he brought us a bag of figs. So I turned to Deep Run Roots and I found the fig section, and the first recipe that caught my eye was the fig and honey bourbon slush. We love bourbon, talked about that before. I personally love fresh figs, but I'm kind of allergic to them, so it'll be interesting to see if I can drink this without problems. It's not a hive type reaction. It's not going to make me stop breathing, but makes my mouth feel tingly. Anyway, since this isn't cooked, it might cause that reaction, but we'll see. So that's what we're gonna make today. We're gonna make fig and honey bourbon slush. And I've got all of the ingredients here. We're going to do some in the blender, some on the stove, and then mix the rest together. So I'm just gonna have to kind of be a little careful that I don't add the wrong things at the wrong times. But first thing that goes in is figs. These are brown turkey figs. I think I have slightly more than the recipe technically calls for, but these are all the ones that were a little bit mushy and just needed to be used up, this is the perfect recipe for that. And brown turkey figs are the kind that she talks about that are prevalent across Eastern North Carolina. So, to the figs in this blender, we add orange juice. So I have some fresh cold pressed orange juice that I bought at the grocery store instead of making my own. And we are just going to process this until we have a smooth puree. My blender has a puree button, so I'm just gonna hit that. Check it out. It looks good to me. Looks great. So we are just going to, there we go. We're just gonna leave this be, and we're gonna combine some other ingredients into a pan. So I've just got a small pan here. Let me move this out of the way. So I've just got a small pan here, and we're gonna add water, just a little bit of water. And we're gonna add we're gonna add the honey. Being really careful to do things in the right order today and in the right measurements. And we have a couple of strips of just orange zest that we're gonna put in here. Now, I'm not gonna show you this part, but we're gonna put this on the stove, and she does not say what temperature or anything, but bring it to a simmer and simmer it for 5 minutes. And that's it. And then we'll be back. Okay, so our honey and water and orange rind have orange zest, not the whole rind, have been simmering for 5 minutes, and I let it cool for a couple just so it wouldn't be like boiling hot. And now we take out the orange zest. I'm just gonna put it over here because we don't want that in our drink. So there we go. And we're gonna mix everything else together. I'm gonna take advantage of this pour spout, and we'll see how that works out. I'm gonna put my fig and orange juice mixture in first. Just so it's not immediately really hot stuff going on a plastic, because that makes me feel weird. Anyway, so now I'm going to add our honey syrup. Okay, put that over here. And so we're gonna be sort of whisking all of this together. And now we add all of the other ingredients. So everything goes in here. And so I'm gonna add some lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, didn't cheat this time. And I'm going to add some ginger beer. So this is also alcoholic. And yes, I am supposed to add it at this point, not later. I verified since I've done that wrong before. There we go. I think it just provides flavor, not the bubbles, because those will mostly be gone because we're supposed to whisk this. And then bourbon. This is just our favorite sort of mixing bourbon. Nothing too special, probably. Just because it's, you know, in a bunch of syrup. But, you know, use what you like. All right. That is all mixed up. And we have to chill it. We're gonna chill it definitely overnight. You just want it to be thoroughly chilled in the refrigerator. And then we're going to churn it in an ice cream maker. So we'll be back with that in just a minute. Our fig and honey bourbon slush mixture has been in the refrigerator overnight and we are ready to churn it. We're gonna churn it in our ice cream maker. This is just one where this red part goes in the freezer and we churn it according to the manufacturer's instructions. Mine basically just says everything should be done within 20 minutes, so I'm gonna have to check on it, but it might take 2 batches. This says it will churn 1.5 quarts, which is what this should be, but I think it might be a little bit more than 6 cups. So anyway, especially if you're gonna do more than 1 batch, you need to make sure you whisk it up to get all of the solids reincorporated so that your batches are pretty much the same, because it might settle out. So I'm just gonna put this back on so I can pour it. And I'm gonna turn on my ice cream maker and then I'm gonna pour. But we're gonna come back. I'm gonna check on it 10 minutes or so to see. It's not gonna freeze entirely like an ice cream would because of the bourbon, but yeah, we'll show you what it looks like when it comes out of this in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. We'll let you know. Okay, just turned this off. It's been probably about 30 minutes and it's not getting very, I mean, it looks kind of like a slushy, I guess, but it's not super icy, or it's definitely not super frozen, but I guess that's what it's supposed to do. It took a while to get to this stage too, so I'm just gonna call it done. You can do this without an ice cream maker, and you put it in the freezer and basically run your fork through it, stir it up with a fork every hour or so until it's, you know, where you want it to be. There we go. So I'm just going to pour this into, I have a container that I know goes well into my freezer. So I'm gonna pour this in there, do my best. So when I do ice cream, it freezes to the side, but this is not doing that, so, but my hand is very cold right now. All right. Okay, so we'll wash that up and put it back in the freezer for next time. And we're going to put the lid on this and put it in the freezer for at least an hour, and then it's ready to consume. So we'll show you what it looks like when we try it. I think our slush has been in the freezer for 2 hours at this point, and it's certainly not frozen, but it seems like a decent sort of slurpy kind of consistency. So I got an ice cream scoop to help get it out just in case. It seems like around the edges it's a little more frozen, but this is going to be very messy. I don't know if this is the best serving This is probably not the best scooping method, but so I'm going to just put some in here. Ours seems a little less icy than hers, but not bad. And I'm going to put a straw in it and clean off the edges. And there we go. That's our fig and honey bourbon slush. I'm gonna take a little sip. That's tasty. It's not very sweet. You can definitely taste the bourbon, but and it goes through the straw very well. I'd be interested to see how well like if it freezes harder the longer it's in there, but I don't think it's gonna freeze too hard. So I really enjoyed it. It was not that difficult. Fresh figs are hard to come by, very seasonal. So if you have access to them, please, and you like them and you like bourbon, go ahead and make this. You do need you don't have to have the ice cream machine. That's the sort of preferred way to make it, but you can make it sort of like a granita. You can look up, that method. You just put it in a dish in the freezer and use a fork to stir it up to sort of make it smaller crystals. But yeah, that's it. If you liked watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and watch me make something else next week.